Hi, I'm Aubrey. I've spent the last 8 years raising my daughter Emma on my own, and despite the challenges, we've built a pretty good life together. I work as a marketing coordinator at a local firm, and while the job isn't glamorous, it pays the bills and lets me be home for dinner most nights. Mom, do you think my hair will reach my waist by summer? Emma asked one morning while I brushed her long brown hair, the pride and joy of my little girl who hadn't had more than a trim since she was 4. At the rate it's growing, sweetie? Definitely. That Saturday, we were heading to my parents' house for their annual spring barbecue. I always dreaded these gatherings because of my younger sister, Vanessa. Look who finally decided to show up, Vanessa announced as we walked through the door. My sister had never grown up, despite being 30. She'd bounced between jobs, apartments, and relationships, but somehow remained the golden child in my parents' eyes. We're right on time, Vanessa, I replied, squeezing Emma's hand. My dad, Richard, emerged from the kitchen. There's my girls! Emma, your grandma made those cookies you like. Emma ran off to find her grandmother while I helped set up. My mom, Linda, was arranging food on the patio table. So, how's the new apartment, Vanessa? I asked, trying to be civil. Amazing. My boss is letting me work remotely 3 days a week now. That's the 3rd job this year, right? I couldn't help myself. Aubrey, don't start, Mom warned. Vanessa's just finding her path. At 30? I muttered. Not everyone wants to be tied down with responsibilities so young, Vanessa shot back, glancing meaningfully at Emma. Some of us handle our responsibilities, I replied. After lunch, Emma was tired from playing with the neighbor's kids. Can I take a nap in Grandma's room? She asked, rubbing her eyes. Of course, sweetie. I helped her get settled, admiring her long hair splayed across the pillow. An hour later, I was helping Dad with the grill when I heard a scream from inside. My blood ran cold as I recognized Emma's voice. I dropped everything and ran. Emma stood in the hallway, tears streaming down her face, clutching chunks of her hair. Behind her, Vanessa held scissors and wore a smirk. What did you do? I demanded, kneeling to examine Emma's once beautiful hair, now chopped unevenly to her shoulders. Just a little makeover while she was sleeping, Vanessa laughed. She needed a change. You cut her hair while she was asleep? My voice shook with rage. Mom, she cut my hair! Emma sobbed into my chest. I hate it. Mom and Dad appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Dad asked. Vanessa cut Emma's hair while she was napping. To my shock, Dad chuckled. Well, it was getting pretty long. It's just hair, Aubrey, Mom added. It'll grow back. It's just a prank, Vanessa said with a shrug. Lighten up. I looked at my daughter's devastated face, then at my family's dismissive expressions. Something inside me snapped. We're leaving, I announced, picking up our bags. Don't be so dramatic, Mom called after us. But I was already guiding Emma to the car, her small body shaking with sobs. They always take her side, I whispered, buckling Emma in. But not this time. This time, they're going to regret it. The entire ride home, Emma couldn't stop crying. I called my best friend Casey as soon as we got in the door. I'll be right over, she said when I explained what happened. 20 minutes later, Casey arrived with ice cream and a small gift bag for Emma. Hey, sweetie, I brought you something, Casey said, handing Emma the bag. Emma pulled out a cute headband and some sparkly hair clips. Until we fix your hair, these might make you feel better. Can it even be fixed? Emma asked, lower lip trembling. I've already called Marco, I said. He's the best stylist in town and he's squeezing us in first thing tomorrow. After Emma finally fell asleep, Casey and I sat at my kitchen table with glasses of wine. I can't believe your family. They've always favored Vanessa, but this crosses a line. Tell me about it. And get this. Vanessa started working as an aide at Emma's school 3 months ago. I didn't even know until Emma mentioned seeing her aunt in the hallways last week. Wait, your sister works at Emma's school? After pulling a stunt like this? My parents probably pulled strings. Dad golfs with the superintendent. The next morning, Marco examined Emma's choppy hair with a sympathetic frown. Your aunt did this? Criminal. But don't worry, I can work with this. He turned Emma's chair toward the mirror. We'll do a cute bob. You'll start a trend. While Marco worked his magic, my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Hope you've calmed down. Bringing Emma to Sunday dinner? I showed Casey the message. Unbelievable. No apology? They never think Vanessa needs to apologize for anything. After Emma's haircut, which Marco had indeed salvaged into an adorable bob, we grabbed lunch. Emma seemed in better spirits until she froze mid-bite. What's wrong, sweetie? Remember when my science project got broken before the fair? Aunt Vanessa was at our house that day. I thought back to 3 months ago. Emma had worked for weeks on her volcano. The morning of the fair, we found it crushed. And what about Mr. Whisker's missing collar and my ballet shoes with the cut ribbons? A pattern was emerging that made my blood boil. That afternoon, I called other parents from Emma's class under the pretense of organizing an end-of-year party. Melissa, mother of Emma's friend Zoe, had plenty to say. Your sister's the worst. Zoe came home crying last week because Miss Vanessa made fun of her stutter in front of everyone. Are you serious? Dead serious. And she's not the only one. Tanya's son Jacob got singled out for his glasses, and Daniel with his lunch. Apparently, your sister told him his mom's cooking looked like dog food. When Casey came back over that evening, I shared everything I'd learned. We need to gather evidence. Document everything, she said, pacing my living room. And reach out to more parents. If enough of you complain, she'll just deny it all and my parents will back her up like always. Then we need irrefutable proof. Casey stopped pacing. Doesn't the school have security cameras in the hallways? A plan was starting to form in my mind. You know what? It's time Vanessa learned that actions have consequences. The next day, I created a group chat with the parents Melissa had mentioned. Within hours, 15 parents joined, all with stories about Vanessa. My daughter came home crying because your sister told her that her artwork belonged in the trash, wrote Lisa, mother of a second grader. Vanessa accidentally spilled juice on my son's project and then laughed about it, added Jason. With screenshots of the chat as evidence, I scheduled a meeting with Principal Derek. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Aubrey, Derek said, reviewing the messages in his office. But I need more than hearsay. What about checking the security footage? He hesitated. That would require justification for the school board. How about the testimony of 15 parents? Let me be candid. Your father and the superintendent are close friends. Previous complaints about Vanessa have disappeared. I leaned forward. Are you telling me my parents have been covering this up? I'm not saying anything officially. But off the record, yes. Every time an issue comes up, your father makes a call, and suddenly the parent retracts their complaint. Not this time, I promised. Outside his office, I bumped into Tanya, whose son had been mocked about his lunch. Any luck with Derek? We need concrete evidence. Does your son have a phone? Yeah, but they're supposed to keep them in their lockers. Tell him to keep it in his pocket tomorrow. We need video. Over the next week, we collected our evidence. Jacob recorded Vanessa mimicking his stutter. Zoe captured her making faces behind a teacher's back. 3 different kids filmed her deliberately knocking over projects. The most damning evidence came from the music room, where Emma recorded Vanessa telling a group of girls that Emma's mom was so desperate she'd probably marry the janitor if he asked. When Emma showed me that video, tears streaming down her face, I knew it was time. The family reunion is this weekend at my parents' lake house, I told Casey as we sorted through our evidence. Everyone will be there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even my grandmother who thinks Vanessa walks on water. Are you sure you want to do it so publicly? They humiliated my daughter publicly. Turnabout is fair play. I reached out to Melissa, who worked for the local newspaper. If I give you a tip about systematic bullying at the elementary school, including video evidence and parent testimonials, would you run it? In a heartbeat. But are you prepared for the fallout? I've been preparing my whole life. The day before the reunion, I got a call from my mother. Emma's hair looks adorable in the photos you posted. See? Everything worked out fine. We'll see you tomorrow, Mom. Oh, and don't bring up the hair thing again. Vanessa feels bad enough. Does she? You know how sensitive she is. I packed up the files containing our evidence, including printouts of text messages between my father and the superintendent burying complaints, which Derek had secretly provided. "Are we really doing this, Mom?" Emma asked that night. "Yes, sweetie. Sometimes people need to face consequences to learn. Even family? Especially family." The lake house was packed with relatives when Emma and I arrived. Vanessa was holding court on the deck, regaling our cousins with stories about her latest adventure. "Well, look who decided to grace us with her presence," Vanessa called out. "Love the hair, Emma. So much more manageable now, right?" Emma gripped my hand tighter but stood tall. "Actually, I miss my long hair, but you didn't give me a choice when you cut it while I was sleeping." A hush fell over the group. My Aunt Dorothy cleared her throat. "What's this about cutting hair while sleeping?" "Just a little prank," my father Richard interjected, coming up behind us. "Water under the bridge now. Is that what we're calling bullying these days? Pranks?" I pulled out my folder. "Because I have a whole collection of Vanessa's pranks right here." "This isn't the time or place, Aubrey," Mom hissed. "It's exactly the time and place. Everyone's here to witness what kind of people you really are." I connected my phone to the TV and played the compilation of videos we'd collected. The room fell silent as they watched Vanessa mocking children, knocking over projects, and making cruel comments about Emma and me. "Turn that off immediately!" Dad lunged for the remote. "Don't bother. I've already sent copies to the school board, the superintendent, and the local newspaper. The story runs tomorrow." Vanessa's face drained of color. "You can't do that. I'll lose my job." "Actions have consequences, Vanessa. Something you never learned because Mom and Dad were too busy cleaning up your messes." My grandmother stood up, her voice shaking. "Richard, is this true? You let her behave this way toward children?" "It's not what it looks like, Mother. Aubrey's blowing things out of proportion as usual." I pulled out the text messages Derek had provided. "These are conversations between Dad and the superintendent, burying complaints about Vanessa. 15 families have come forward with similar stories." Uncle Steve looked disgusted. "My grandkids go to that school, Richard." "Aubrey, please." Mom was crying now. "We can fix this. We're family." Family doesn't cut a child's hair for fun. Family doesn't bully children. And family doesn't cover up abuse. Vanessa approached Emma. "I'm sorry, kiddo. I was just playing around." Emma stepped back. "No, you weren't. You were being mean on purpose." "From now on, we're keeping our distance," I announced. "If you want a relationship with Emma, you'll need to earn it with genuine change, not empty apologies." 3 days later, Melissa's article hit the front page. By afternoon, Vanessa had been fired, and the superintendent announced his early retirement. My parents' phones rang constantly with calls from angry friends and neighbors. 2 weeks later, Casey hosted a party to celebrate Emma's new beginning. All the kids from school who'd been bullied came, along with their parents. "How does it feel to be the hero of the whole school?" Casey asked Emma, who was proudly showing off her growing hair with a sparkly headband. "Good, but I'm just glad Aunt Vanessa can't hurt anyone else." Marco arrived with cupcakes. "For my favorite client and her warrior mom." "Have you heard from your parents?" Melissa asked quietly. "They've called and texted apologies. I'm not ready to hear them yet. Maybe someday, but only if they truly understand what they did wrong." Later that evening, as Emma played with her friends, I looked around at our chosen family. Casey, Marco, the parents who stood with us, Derek, who risked his job to help. "You did good, Aubrey," Casey said, squeezing my shoulder. "We did good," I corrected. Watching Emma laugh, her confidence restored. Some people never face consequences. I'm just glad we changed that story. The story of Aubrey and Emma has come to an end. At what point is it right to cut toxic family members out of your life completely? Aubrey chose to expose her sister and parents publicly rather than handling things privately. Was she justified? Or did she go too far? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have done the same thing in Aubrey's position? Or would you have handled it differently? If you enjoyed this revenge story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Your support helps us create more content you'll love. What was your favorite part of Aubrey's revenge? Let me know in the comments.